So my next question is for Pravesh sir. Sir, you founded Medhavi Skill University. So what was the motivation and vision behind building up a skill university in India? And also, what is that you make sure you ensure that the skills that they're getting is acceptable at the global level?
Right. uh, Let me first give the context about why skills university, and there's a lot of talk about the skills part actually in India. So I have been running this Medhavi foundation, which actually evolved as a skills university, Medhavi Skills University, few years back for the last 10 years. We started with a very simple objective to actually give a very industry relevant training, not necessarily a degree or a diploma, but a training which can lead to a better employability for people. Because in India, I was excited about the fact that, out of the 160, 170 million, crores of people in India, 25 crores people should be into education, in some form of education, school education, higher education, skill education. But to my surprise, only about 10 crore people were receiving some form of education, and rest were not. The gross enrollment ratio is about 26%. And the people who are graduating out of colleges is even much lower. Now, my motivation was very clear that, I have to target that middle segment. And how can we create those very, very industry relevant skill-based education? So we were doing about 40,000 skill training every year. We were impacting that numbers, but eventually those people, those students were going to the industry, few were coming back, but all of them were actually taking some form of higher education from somewhere. What I realized is that in India, you can impart good quality skills, but end of the day, there is a strong societal pressure to be a graduate. In India, we don't call a person padha likha until he's actually a graduate. So there we thought that why not? So since we are doing so much of skilling, we were doing in various sectors like the healthcare, paramedical, retail, hospitality, IT. We thought why not to create a university where we can integrate skills into the higher education track. Now what came to our benefit was the new national education policy and the slew of reforms which came in. Earlier, we were all used to education, which is a classroom-based education, and the system was very, very highly regulated. Now, what changed over time in the last 2 years is that now education can be imparted through online, through on-site, through industry partnerships, and it could be any kind of education earned through any kind of experience. Now there are provisions. There's a new credit framework which has been launched. There are provisions where through a right assessment, you can even creditize or award academic credits for some experience, accrued by working in some overseas company. So we actually leveraged that, created very high quality programs, and I'm very proud that in terms of number of apprenticeship embedded, the internship embedded degree programs which are led by industry, we are number one in India. We have more than 8,000 students who are working in about 90 plus industries in different locations, manufacturing, IT, retail, all of them. Now, but we slowly also realize that there is a massive opportunity to actually take this to the international markets. Now we have, thanks to the new laws and rules which came in, where we, now Indian education institutions can launch twinning programs, dual degree programs, joint degree programs in collaboration with any, overseas institutions. And there are ways where you can have a credit articulation agreement. Students can start in India, study for 1 or 2 years, complete their education overseas. Earlier it was not possible, but now these reforms are far-reaching. Now this only means that the student has humongous benefit in terms of saving on the cost of education, right? And they can still get the best of the worlds coming to overseas, spending less time, which means less cost, but still getting a very high quality qualification and an entry path for the jobs here in India. So now one of our focus is actually to partner with a lot of employers overseas. Like we run Ausbilden program in Germany, where we run engineering programs, which 2 years the students spend in India, and rest of the 2 years they're spending in Germany, working and getting a very handsome stipend, which otherwise in India was not possible. Now, these are the programs, and I'm very proud to say, and I feel great that we are at the right time in terms of actually making the education very, very relevant, outcome-based, and overall affordable and inclusive as well, which is very, very important from an Indian context. Yeah, thank you.
Great, sir. So while you're talking about big numbers, you mentioned the figure of 80,000 students, learners. So how do you ensure the proper education are being delivered to the audit, from the audit point of view?
That's a very, very good question, because the moment we think about education which is not happening inside a campus, we see, because we have a connotation of a distance education or an online education. But when we talk about hard skills, for example, in manufacturing industries, or where you have to really learn on the job, now there are provisions where on the job can also be a part of the curriculum, where there are provisions to actually assess that what you're learning on the job, right? And how our work integrated or industry-led programs are structured. So our 60-70% of the curriculum is actually defined by what they're learning on the job as part of their apprentice programs. And it is assessed by the employer. So the ball is in the court of the employer to make sure that they learn over time different skills in an industry. It's a very, very curated kind of a program, right? And we take care of the theoretical knowledge, because end of the day, we cannot be expert in all the fields. There are a huge number of fields, very technical fields, and the world is changing so fast. We cannot keep pace with how best the industry is thinking about their manpower requirements.
Thank you so much for your insight, sir.